Yeah, so first let's set a an understanding. In the modern day, people are so anti-relationship, anti-dependency because it's so cool to say that you don't need anyone. It's so cool to be
Mm.
a sigma male. It's so cool to be a boss girl. It's so cool to not need friends and to be the lone wolf. And all those people are unhappy. All those people are lonely. You know how you can tell they're lonely? Because they all spend all their time on the internet commenting about how much of a lone wolf they are. They're all posting their pictures every day, boss babe. It's like you don't have that much time for social media if you're actually a happy person. So we must understand that there's a need to be dependent on each other. The reason why we're all so miserable these days is because we're so alone, because we don't connect with one another. And you brought up such awesome points, Dennis. It's being next to someone and the physical touch, even as friends. I think that's deeply important. It's the smallest thing, like just fist bumping a friend, or you end up saying something, he goes for the PR and you slap him on the back before he goes hit squats, bro. That's like that brings us like, look how much you're smiling at the thought of like fist bumping a guy. Like we need to get out of this thing of like, yeah, I don't need anyone. We should think that's awesome. The best part of life is hitting a PR with your boys watching you. The best part of life is like intimately connecting with your woman, and not none of this BS of like, yeah, I don't need anyone else. I'm totally fine just being depressed here by myself. Like, our brains and our body haven't changed much in the last. We don't evolve that quickly, right? Evolution takes millions of years, so we still have the brain and the body. Mostly the brain, actually. The body has changed quite a lot recently, but the brain is still the same as our caveman ancestors. Especially our nervous system, it's all the same. It's just wired for survival. Inside of us is literally like all of our nervous system, all these nerves and all these like the things like our sight and our sounds and everything. We're just anxiously making sure that we're gonna survive. And probably the single greatest contributor to survival, it's other people. It's being in the tribe. It's being next to the warm campfire with other people. It's being knowing that the other guys there, they might hunt when maybe you get sick, and they'll be able to bring back the food when you can't. It's knowing that the women there are able to take care of the children. It's knowing that we're safe here in our little community. And we don't have this anymore. That's seen as like lame these days. That's seen as like misogynist or something. So it's not, we need to say this right now, it's not toxic at all to need someone. It's so cool these days to act like you don't need people. The alpha male type of shit, bro. We need people. Even like some of the most like alpha high testosterone, like the masculine guys. Andrew Tate, he says he needs his brother, and that's wholesome. That's true, 100%. Jordan Peterson needed his wife, and he was devastated when she passed away. We need each other, and we need to acknowledge this right now. Is okay. This is a pure like survival level need, below the need to learn or to work or to eat. Like it's in the same baseline as needing to eat and breathe oxygen. That's where like psychologists put the need for connection, next to breathing oxygen, next to excreting. Like literally think about like you die if you don't go to the toilet after a number of days. You get sick. Eating, water, you die without these things. And the psychologist Abraham Maslow, he put like human connection, love and sex at the bottom of this pyramid, next to breathing air. So is it toxic to think that we need this stuff? No, bro. I think it's toxic to think that we don't need this. So then honestly, like my heart goes out to you because you're in a very tricky situation. At first you said you didn't want to hold your girl back from achieving her dreams and stuff, and I was like, yeah, fair enough, okay, fair enough. But then when you mentioned the jobs that she does, that's when I began to question things. Because first you said, okay, the graphic design, like the digital stuff.
Graphic design.
Yeah, and that in my perception was you can just do it online. It's all PC related stuff. But then okay, she needs to go to these companies and stuff. Okay, fair enough. Some things are still better in person when she goes, and they need to like check this book or whatever it is, right? But then as soon as you mentioned the restaurants, and she's gonna be working like I assume pretty much minimum wage there, it's like that's now I'm seeing a little bit of like incompatibility because it seems like she's preoccupied with like living her best life, and it seems like you're more preoccupied with the relationship, which is usually quite a unattractive
Dynamic.
Yeah, dynamic. That's a good word. Yeah. So am I right by thinking like is that my thinking's right by that right now? I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that if you were more masculine, you would really feel more differently, because I think masculine energy is confused with the modern day like alpha males that we see who are trying to act like manly men and stuff. You can be masculine and still have anxious thoughts, because in the end the it's not like the masculine men have no fear. There's a lot of fear. Masculinity is a part of masculinity is having courage, and courage is feeling the fear, the thing that you're scared of, but still doing that thing anyway, still having the bravery. Masculinity does not mean you can't be anxious. It means that you can be anxious but still do the right thing anyway. But if we look at it on a practical level, like anxiety is not very productive, and having thoughts like kind of nagging thoughts about your girl and stuff, and it's not helpful in some ways, especially for most guys, right? I think some guys can benefit from having like the hard life, the hard like training ground, the hard like the girl who maybe could be cheating and stuff. I think that can be a benefit, but you don't really seem like that kind of guy. You seem like the kind of guy who like you would want a woman who's secure and very reliable and who wants to be with you probably a little bit more than you want to be with her, which is like that's a very like loving dynamic. That's like your secure, like your wifey kind of woman. That seems like that's what you want. And I wouldn't attach a label to it right now just to make yourself feel worse. Like, oh, but that's not masculine, so I don't really care, bro. Like, I think the point of a relationship is to try and be as like real and also authentic to your real self. Not what you've seen from me, not what you've seen from Andrew Tate or from any YouTuber or any belief that you have that you should act like this. You should try to figure out exactly who you really are, your real beliefs, your real feelings, your real thoughts, your real like logical like interpretations of the world and what you're attracted to. And that's what you should find with a woman who's compatible to those things. So I could tell you right now to pretend to be an alpha male and to not care that your girl's going anywhere. Or I could tell you to pretend to be an alpha male and to like punish her and tell her to stay at home and stuff. But either way, it's like all that's going to do is hurt both you and her, because there is some incompatibility there. You want, and it's totally fine to say this, you want a woman who is physically closer and who wants to be around you more often. That's what I'm getting from you. I think that's true. And that's absolutely fine to say. That's not toxic. That's not misogynist. That's not anything like this. You just want a woman who's close to you. Nothing wrong with that. There's guys who actually kind of like it when the woman's not close to him. Nothing wrong with that, because that's what they want. That's what they desire in a relationship. Right now, it's like you've got a woman who another guy might appreciate, a guy who really wants his space and his independence, and he doesn't want to see her for a month or something because he's busy somewhere else. But it seems like you don't actually want that. But of course, like you said, there's the love and the attachment there, which is where it gets tricky. Because if I ask you just logically, no emotions, imagine this was just like a checkbox, like just like pure brain, no heart right now. Knowing what you know about this girl, that she likes to travel without you, that she's happy to spend months of the year without you, that she's doing that to follow her dreams, but her dreams involve working for minimum wage in a restaurant. So it's not like, it's some huge lucrative career or anything, right? If just knowing what you know now with pure logic, would you date a woman like that?
Probably not.
Logically, she is not right for you. We could be slightly wrong. Now, there could be a chance that you can say this to her in a nice way, not to say no, don't, you're not allowed out of the house, bitch. You don't say anything horrible or anything, but you just kind of just ask her and bring it up with authenticity. I'm sure you spoke about these things before, but you've done it in these micro moments of like, oh wait, you're going to Italy, but I'm not too sure about that. Or you're going to this guy. But I think you should look not at the specific trip that she's planning on, but as the person that she is. She is the person that finds enjoyments from space away from you. She's the person that has a whole life, like the whole world outside of you, and she's happy to explore that. I think you should ask her and sit down with her and speak to her when you can. Maybe if there's distance between you right now, I think you should like literally phone call her today and just speak about these things and say, listen, there's something that I want to like discuss. I wonder if we are compatible. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my interpretation of you is that you want to go and be adventurous and free and travel a lot without me. And I would never want to stop you or change you to be who you are. It seems like that's what's happening now. It seems like I need to change you to be someone else because I just don't really want to date a person who's traveling like without me this often for years, for months of the year. How would you feel about asking her that?